Are you an artist or creative wanting to incorporate gold leaf or silver leaf or copper leaf into your work, but you've had a look online and the whole thing seems to be very hard to find information on, very expensive, and very messy and overwhelming? Well, if that's you, that was me as well. And so I've actually gone through the entire process of detailing my finished oil painting using copper leaf. And I've decided to film the whole thing and walk you through it because I learned so many things along the way and I think it is invaluable information. So let's grab our materials. I'll pop the materials list on the next page and let's get started. So at this stage, the adhesive has already been applied to the canvas on the circle detail, which is where I plan on the copper leaf detail going. So you can see me here with one bare hand, one gloved hand, and I am using the gloved hand to hold the copper leaf and the bare hand to pull up the corner of the paper of each sheet, and also use the scissors because it's really hard to have control with that gloved hand. And what I'm doing here is then very gently keeping that backing paper attached, and I'm placing the copper leaf face down on the canvas. Just wanted to point out here that I did leave the gold sides to dry for about 45 to 60 minutes, so only about an hour. It does say online that you can leave it for up to 24 hours. But I didn't do that, and for a very important reason that I wanted to mention here, because the painting at this stage, even though it was touch dry, it was actually not, it was technically not completely dry. So if I were to have left the gold leaf on the canvas for that amount of time, I risk basically it not coming up off of the paint. So that's why I've gone ahead and just left it for an hour, and honestly I found it to be okay. So here you can see me using the wax sheet. So I've just placed the wax sheet facing down, and I'm using a lint-free cloth, and I'm just using really gentle, even pressure here, just to help really bind that copper leaf down to the surface, or getting out any kind of folds or kinks or anything like that. So really just helping that binding process along. Here what we can see is I'm using two brushes to start to, so I've removed the wax paper. This is after an hour that I've waited and let it set with the wax paper on top. I've then taken a firmer brush, which you can see here, which is the darker colored brush, and a softer brush, which is the lighter colored brush. And I'm using the two of them in both hands to kind of gently kind of start to chip away. So I just really want to gently test the edges of the copper leaf. I'm just trying to see what's ready to go. I'm being really sheepish at this point. This was my first time really doing this on a large scale. So I really wanted to be super sheepish with this painting and be really conservative in my approach. So I'm just using this soft brush to ever so gently kind of pull back the copper leaf just to see where we're at. And then I'm using those brushes to start to remove piece by piece. So here you can see I'm doing my housekeeping, and that was really important because you will find really quickly that this stuff gets really messy and wants to stick to your entire painting and your entire soul and your studio and everything that you have. So what you can see me here is I am really kind of performing a lot of housekeeping. I'm taking out big pieces of copper leaf as I go, placing it into the wax paper, and you can see me back there placing it into a bowl, which can be a jar, which can be reused later on. So just continuing along with the process here. You can see the circle starting to take shape, and it's really something that can't be rushed. I zoomed in here so you could see how little bits of copper leaf were really starting to get stuck. So it was kind of like digging up dinosaur bones, like archaeology. It sounds a little dramatic, but that's how it felt. You're trying to kind of scrape this back without damaging the surface of your painting, which is why it's really important to have both the harder brush and the softer brush, and I was using them both together. So I've just sped this up here. As you can see, I'm just repeating as we go, keeping the housekeeping up. So remembering to remove these larger pieces because they really want to settle and they really want to kind of bind themselves to the paint, to the canvas, to everything. Like it's it's quite incredible. There's kind of static electricity and you know, the gravitational pull that they have. So you can see here that I'm using a little bit of masking tape rolled up with the sticky side facing out. Please don't judge my filthy nails. They have adhesive and paint underneath them. They're not normally that bad. And I'm using a featherlight rolling kind of motion with my fingertips. It looks a little aggressive up close, but it is very gentle, just to get off any last little bits of that copper dust. It can be very persistent. And here you can see the final painting. I'm super happy with how it turned out. You can see it's a little bit rustic in the shape, but I was going for that because it's in keeping with the texture of the background, which kind of looks and feels like dark blue concrete. This painting is actually currently available. I've popped a link below if you'd like to inquire. So if you've made it this far, well done. Hopefully you are now feeling a little bit more confident to give this a go on your own work, and I would encourage you to do so. I love the effects of metal leafing. I think it's well worth the effort, but it is not for the faint of heart the first few times you do it, that's for sure. If you do give it a go, please be sure to leave me a comment below. Let me know how you went. Let me know what your process was. What were your results like? What did you learn? What could you improve on? Anything like it. I'd love to hear from you. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you liked this video, and I will see you in the next one.